let's talk about chronic health conditions, your awakening process, and how you can use what's here in this website, the 9-pillar framework and the 4-ingredient overview to get an idea of what's required, because chronic conditions are just that. So they would also fit in the tough stuff box of pillar number 8, which I call blind spots. But blind spots are the life lessons and soul lessons to your wisdom, and unfortunately chronic conditions, health conditions, are very similar, so similar structure. Ingredient 2 is required. I'm Jason at awakendessence.com. So as I discuss chronic health conditions, I will sort of review how I have gone about my chronic health issues. I've had a couple. I'll go right into the lumbar pain one that lasted for 7 years due to sort of an injury. I'm currently working through another one at the moment, which is sinusitis, rotting face. That started in about 2015. May have been impacted by Kundalini and other stuff, as I mentioned in the Kundalini video. Maybe not, who knows. Same area though, by coincidence. So I'll stick with the lumbar spine pain, so it's more sort of normal. So what is a chronic condition? I'll be focusing on ones that is physical, because that still has mental and emotional and DNA type aspects to it. So a chronic condition is something that's long term. And in terms of the 4-ingredient overview, what do you want and what you're doing about it, it's more of a, this is hell and I want it gone. So you probably have or will be doing a lot of things to try and fix it, Your motivation's quite high. Physical pain, is a really big motivator, because I'm going to use a technical term, it's a 3-letter word, it sucks big time. There is also a pain video there, where I'm down out there on the Great Ocean Road discussing pain, but from like 3-4 years ago, and that was before I got hit by a car and then had 4 to 5 months of very acute pain, and the osteopath was straightening me out for another 6 months. So in terms of the first ingredient, what do you want, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, you want it gone. But it can also be like a blind spot, and that is give you a life lesson, a soul lesson, and really rocket you to the place where your presence practice and how you go about it can heal your issue and awaken you significantly in terms of your habit development with correct presence practice at the same time. Right. So ingredient 2 is your structures. So in terms of that is the 9-pillar framework. Pillar 1 is correct presence practice. That's how you align, all of you. From down here, 3D, your cells, your DNA. Our DNA carries a lot of health garbage and the capacity to do a lot of healing. And our cells, of course, what get impacted. And then our neurology, then our psychology, because we don't like it, and we do compensatory behaviour and all sorts of stuff, and then get second injuries, So, and the evidence, ingredient 3 and pillar 3, of course, is what is the evidence in your life? What have you actually done that gives you results? So I do talk about the success journal, the presence diary a lot. Go see that page. It's one thing that a lot of people are very lazy about, even though they want to claim enlightenment and all sort of other stuff, but they don't record the evidence. Therefore, you don't have to record it, but it helps because it feeds into your structures. Pillar number 5, your unconscious mind. And my question to you is what heals you? Who's your inner healer? Where are they? Or what is it and where is it? Pillar 5, your unconscious mind, because that's what reads your DNA. That's what does your belief systems, your operating software for you. That's the thing that rules your memories, your emotions, your garbage, your unprocessed stuff, your trauma, your pain body, to use Eckhart Tolle's term, which was originally Barry Long's emotional body. And your unconscious mind, in terms of your heart center, your heart brain. You have a heart brain in here which carries stuff too. 40,000 brain cells there. Go and see the website for the picture where those hang out there at the top of the heart there. It is your gateway to your higher stuff, not your third eye and your crown. It's the heart. The heart is the middle for a reason. It's the intermediary portal of love, unconditional love. A child unconditionally loves their parents. That's why they take on all this stuff, because they don't have their ego formed, their identity boundary device. So when your heart, when all three brains are activated, you are in correct presence practice. All of you is aligned, from your cells, your DNA, your physical cells, your etheric body, your emotional astral body, which is your stuff. It's not a technical body as such. Then your lower mental body, i.e. your normal person mind, your human mind, your higher self mind, your higher wisdom, your bliss body, and the other esoteric stuff up to your Merkabahs and your soul, spirit, God. So Pillar 1, correct presence practice, is the best way to align everything. So when you do some healing, as many layers as possible will clean out, because you are aligned. If you're just doing belief work and cognitive therapies like NLP, which I was internationally certified as a trainer of back in the year 2000, so I know what sort of effect mental body work will do. That might leave the emotions there, unless you've got a really good practitioner who puts you in your emotions rather than disassociate you. But you know, are you physically grounded? Does it realign the memories and the trauma and everything else in your cells? Is DNA work required to help straighten out the physical proteins, which is hard-coded belief stuff? I mean, you could say it's belief, but it's hard-coded in proteins, eh? DNA's, the most challenging stuff to change, and why would that be? Because it's the most physical. A child didn't need to have therapy to get rid of Santa Claus or Tooth Fairy beliefs, did they? No, they just needed to know the truth. Oh, Santa Claus doesn't crawl down the chimney because we don't have one. So you are more than what you believe. Your beliefs are hardwired everywhere. Cellular, DNA, the whole thing. So it's important, if with a chronic condition, you might have stuff lodged at various levels. What are they? This is why chronic health conditions are a biggie, a bit like blind spots, or may have aspects of blind spots in them. So notice your backside, feel your feet and your hands. So also with these videos, the material in this video is complemented quite nicely by me covering the same similar stuff in the Advanced Inquiry page, the Transpersonal Phases 5+ page where I've got my suit on, the blind spot examination page where I've got quite a long video where I give you an introduction with the birds, and then we go out to the bush where I was in a really not so great feeling space, taking 16 days in the bush for healing space for my chronic sinus issue, and to spend time with the wild things, recording koalas and stuff for the Learn Whispering course, which is why they're in the overview videos. The pain video will also give some insights, and I've got the language in that one is a lot older because that language was from 4 years ago, before I recorded the Laws of Grace and the 9-pillar framework and the 4-ingredient overview, to make all this stuff super concise and super measurable. There is no room for vague stuff apart from allowing everything to be as it is, because you include all of you, including your ego, your pain body, well, obviously your chronic health conditions. Holding conscious, boys and girls. No, stay conscious. Come on, patients. Calm down. See, they just about went unconscious and freaked out and flew away because of the noisy minor alert call. Are you here? The parrots don't stop and go, am I present? Is there a falcon coming? No, they just go ping, like most humans do. Into their habits, their bad habits. So, if you install the right habit, your health conditions may resolve. So that's the introduction phase. Now with a chronic condition, you've had it for a while, you've probably tried a few things, there's probably some frustration and annoyance and weariness. Constant pain, chronic pain, or short-term acute pain, even for a day, a couple of hours, is not nice, is it? Do you want to have pain? I just got bit as I said that. Nobody likes pain. And this is how pain can actually be a genuine ingredient 3, pillar 3 indicator of your capacity to be present and what phase of the awakening journey you are in, which is why I talk about off the chart pain in the Kundalini video. Your capacity to hold pain and be present, if not blissed out with God at the same time, is an indicator of what phase you're at. If you can't do that, then you're certainly not phase 4, probably not phase 3 either. It just won't be stable, depending on you and how you define it, how you evidence it. Words are words, eh? So in the advanced inquiry page, I talk about some of the steps, and in the mastery inquiry page, I set out some things that are critical inquiry type skill sets, as well as other stuff that may get in the way that's not yours, i.e., as Eckhart Tolle says in New Earth, collective pain bodies, collective consciousness belief systems that are held by 1, humans, 2, your culture, 3, your family, maybe 4, the town, city and state that you live in. You know how much of that is dragging you down. So I'll discuss a physical issue, which is lumbar pain. So in 2006, roughly, either 2005 or 2006, I damaged my lower lumbar spine with a heavy object. I moved wrong, and yes, something went not so well down there in my back. So what happened? Yeah, massive pain, off work, doctors, the whole thing, you know. Luckily I had access to an osteopath in the group I was with. Yep, that was when I was in the cult with the megalomaniac presence teacher. He was such a controlling person that he expected me to continue working in a job in an environment that was toxic and dangerous, and while I was in physical pain. That's why I say don't give your authority away, eh? We learn these things the hard way sometimes, but you know, I know what I wanted, eh? So I was keen. He couldn't brainwash me because I am an NLP trainer, and I understand brainwashing to the nth degree, which is why I do war about it here. Vague language, cults, control. So I sustained an injury. That injury wasn't fully healed until September 2013. So do the maths. That's 7-8 years, right? So about half that time my spine would be fine, and then the other half I'd have a flare up, and sitting in a chair would be like having a knife put in my back. If I got out of the chair wrong, in goes the knife. You know, at times it was that bad I'd have to crawl on all fours to the toilet. Yeah, just had to be totally conscious all the time of triggering it. So went to a lot of osteopaths, whoever else, you know, healers, x-rays, ultrasounds, everything. So I was doing physically what I could, being very conscious of trying to not trigger that and bringing in compensatory behaviours, some of which then just started other strains and stresses in other parts of my body. That's what happens when you get a physical injury. If you don't fix it right and keep your normal range of motion and physical movements where they should be, you can do secondary damage. So physically I was doing what I could. You know, and that was when I was basically in the non-abiding phase 2 by then. And then within 2 years of that, abidance hit at the start of 2008. So the other 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, the other 6 years, I was in phase 3 and going into phase 4. So that's matured enlightenment, is stably, deeply abiding, awakened presence with where the divine, step 4, becomes a priori. It's always here, can't lose it. So I got to experience that place of sitting in my chair in absolutely hideous pain for months at a time, and just being there with me, my presence, the divine, thinking, yeah, this is perfect. And no desire at all for the pain to be gone. Preferable, yes. Desirous, yes. But the wanting and the desire at other levels was gone, because it is, man. I was allowing it to be, and the presence was enough, and the divine, in whichever forms it came through for me. Okay. So that was also, again, one of these things that spurred me on to keep my practice up, which is why I've kept deepening instead of just kind of getting to phase 3 and then fluffing it up. So that's why, like your chronic health condition, if you really can bring yourself into step 3 of the correct presence practice, the suffering's gone. Does it still hurt? Are you still having those symptoms? Yep. Does it suck? Yep. But you're okay with it, because it is allowing everything to be. And that's as vague as we get here, apart from the divine yum yum and step 4, the nothing, everything divine, sparkling, non-sparkle, God thing. Everything else can be specific. So what are you doing? What are you not doing? What are the bad habits that make it worse? How far have you gone? How persistent have you been with like your presence practice? The 4th ingredient, of course, being your volitional attention, which you're applying to your structures, that you're applying to your presence practice, that you're applying to whatever healing work, emotional work, counselling work, physical therapies, diet, putting yourself in a nice environment that's not toxic so you can heal. That's why in those videos on the front there, the overview videos, I'm out in the bush for 16 nights. And you know, I was in the blind spot examination video. Yeah, you can see quite clearly I'm a bit sort of not feeling so great, but God was with me. Hell yeah. And hanging out in the bush, you know, giving myself that time helped me to feel better and move with it. However, the actual operation made the massive difference, and that was just having the toxic crap removed out of my cheek and my sinus there. Wow. So for me, with the lumbar pain, you know, I once you come across a certain health practitioner or doctor, or you figure out what the core issue is, you can do something about addressing it. So I was very lucky. I found myself in the situation where I had ended up with a finance job in a physiotherapy business. I mean, I was already pretty good at my anatomy and physiology from my spiritual search and all that sort of stuff. So to end up in a physiotherapy business with my lumbar issues meant I could do clinical Pilates. Yeah, come on, sweet. So what that does is that works with your unconscious mind. So with this particular condition, the nerves around the discs or all through that area through my spine weren't being supported. So unconsciously, as I say in a lot of videos, is you have the unconscious mind is set up to protect you. I call them protection mechanisms, but in terms of your physical physiology, when you have an injury, your body tightens up around it to keep it safe. So some chronic issues can do with your body's protection mechanisms going into protective mode and squeezing around the nerves, and the muscles don't relax. All right? So nothing can flow because your body's trying to keep you safe. Which is why with Pilates it's all about learning to control your transverse abdominis, your erectors, your psoas, and lots of little muscles all between the spine, the multifidus. So multifidus, psoas, in some respects, now the erectors are unconscious as well. There's a bunch of muscles in there that you can't consciously turn off and on. That's why the psoas muscle that's inside the pelvis and goes up the inside of your spine. In terms of animals like sheep and pigs and cows, that's called the fillet steak. It's the most tender part of the beast. That's also, the psoas muscle is the enlightenment muscle and is represented, as I kind of didn't finish in one of the other videos, the Kundalini video, is known as the cobra muscle. So you get conscious control of your cobra muscle. That is symbolic of you and your cobra, your Kundalini serpent arising. It's really interesting, eh? Because they're so deeply unconscious. So as I did my own healing work and I worked through my own issues regarding my lower spine stuff, you know, what's lower spine? If you read Louise Hay, financial support, physical support, because that's what it is. It's the base of your spine. It's the foundation of, one, your spine, your frame, but also, you know, you know. Do you have a spine? You show some spine. So, and that's when it happened when I was in that cult and that guy was trying to brainwash me and I was being controlled. Ping! Lumbar damage. Come on, sweet. So with the clinical Pilates and also what I'd learned from the osteopaths I'd been visiting was that I had to learn to train to activate transverse abdominis and all those muscles, and I did various amounts of research as well as talking to some of the quite amazing people I was working with about all those muscle structures, and did some Google searching and found some books that were really quite in depth regarding these particular muscles. So I had to do research. And within like 4 months of the adding in the clinical Pilates plus all the previous work, I got rid of the pain. And the x-rays said, you know, blah blah blah, minor bulging and all the rest, so therefore it could be considered to be a lifelong issue. But I fixed the pain. I reversed the protection mechanisms that were clamping around the nerves, and I got those muscles working properly and got them out of their freak out mode. Hey, you know, what does a person behave like when they're freaked out? Your body does the same. Another thing I did, because of other health issues I was having, I went into keto and I got rid of 15 kilos of fat. And when you've worked in an abattoir, which is where I had that damage made, there's one thing you do learn is if you've got fat on the outside of your body, you can guarantee you've got a lot inside of your body and around your organs. So all that fat too would have been adding to the squish factor around my nerves. So over a year and a half, I lost 15 kilos. I've obviously put some back on since. But My spine, I've not had any pain in my lower back since 2013 after 7 years of on-off hell. I think that qualifies as ingredient 3, pillar 3, damn successful evidence. And when my lumbar spine does tighten up, I know what to do. I just do 100 Mackenzie rolls and it just loosens everything up and I'm fine again. I've not had spine pain since 2013. And if you've got chronic pain, you can only just guess how good that would be, right? Oh, what a test. So what was the positive side of having this condition? Because if you've got one, they suck, eh? We've already covered that sort of 3-letter technical term. You want to come across instead of trying to bite me, mate? No. Come on. See, this is wanting, rather. This is what do you want, but not prepared to do what's required about it. I love these animals. They're just fantastic. He's thinking about it. He'll do everything he can to stretch out and bite me. He'll jump down there and try and pull my hand down as the next trick they try. How about you come up here? It's all about motivation. What do you want? What are you going to do about it? I'll make it easy enough for this guy to get some seed. He will come up on my knee. If I'm nice to him and I'm holding my presence. Hey darling, you can let me give you a cuddle? You are. That's nice of you. How's your backside? What's going on in your tummy? What emotions are going on? If you've got pain, where in your body is it? What shape is it? Can you hold your presence around it? Are you aware of your muscular tensions that may be contracting and making it worse? Correct presence practice course. Yeah, naughty human, come on. So my doing the research and knowing I had to lose weight, which got rid of the fat from around the nerves, the clinical Pilates to train the deeply unconscious muscles. Pillar 5, your unconscious mind. It's right in the middle of the 9-pillar framework by grace, but it is so critical. The heart brain, the heart, the child that's unconditionally loving takes everything personally. That's what you do as a child. That's what you still do as an adult. You're just not conscious of it. The ego comes over the top and goes, that's not mine. As a baby, you don't have that. As a fetus, you don't have that. So you're just a clean slate. So your parents' garbage just goes. And that's the basis of your crap for this life, eh? Psychology 101. So you grow an ego, and so you can go, nah, that's not mine. Nah, that's you and your ego. You're not present. That's what spiritual people do. Check the steps. You can validate it. So I had to train these muscles. I had to get rid of some dietary issues like lactose intolerance. Even their wings can be weapons, eh? I just got whacked in both eyes with feathers then. Eh? What excited you and caused that? Tangles. Come up. Good bird. So at that level, the unconscious mind had to retrain parts of my body. I had to retrain my diet to lose weight and various other things to help with my health. And I got rid of it. Yeah. Being free of a chronic condition is just fantastic. A bit like this operation I had here 5-6 weeks ago to get rid of the toxic snot out of my face. It's made a big difference. And now I'm doing the rest of the follow-up, which is at least 3 root canals, possible extractions, depending on how that goes. So there are consequences. So each level of my system has been heavily examined for me to deal with this second chronic health issue, because it was no fun. Can't dive, all that sort of stuff. It has impacts in your life, eh? And under the rules of evidence, you know, you can measure your success by how long you are out of that condition, which may come back, depending. If you heal it deep enough, it might not ever come back. So I'm still wary of my lumbar spine to not lift big heavy things, considering, you know, some of the huge crystals that I have at home. I've got a lot of amethyst, eh? If I pick one of those up wrong, I could easily do that damage again. So, you know, moving forward, whenever I move them, I've got to be extremely careful of how I do it so I don't damage myself. So I've learnt my lesson. Stay conscious. Yeah, come on. How do you stop cockatoos from freaking out? You distract them. You take their attention away from their unconscious reaction. So in terms of this teaching here and the awakening process, correct presence practice, and the whole thing is build up the evidence. See what works, keep doing it. If something's working, it's a sign to keep at it. So I tried a number of things to get rid of my spine issues. Diet, losing weight, correct exercise, clinical Pilates, plus all of the spiritual work that went with it, which actually included removing a curse out of my spine from Mr. Megalomaniac. So, you know, even esoteric things can have impacts. Is that provable? No. But that's the sort of person he was. He was a very powerful and had a lot of siddhi and spiritual powers, which of course that helped him to form a cult. So yeah, law zero, self-honesty, self-responsibility, which as a teacher translates into a moral compass. Would this put me in jail in 5 years' time? Is a really easy one to gauge. Am I putting my personal agendas and personal will on other people? Yeah, that's another one. Can I have my foot? Can I have my thumb? I want my thumb so I can give you some more seed. You nearly did the splits. You're a keen bird, aren't you? You know, let me tickle under your arm. See, that's trust. No, right? So eventually the evidence stacks up that you've dealt or you've had improvements with your health condition. What are the other bad habits that may trigger it? Be it you, the people, your job, your environment, something in your food. Let's see if the birds vanish. Stay conscious. 2/3 of them went. Are you here? This is what your chronic health condition can do, eh? Am I here? Am I allowing? Am I on my body? Is my body relaxed? Can I feel my inner body? What's the shape of the pain? Be specific. There it is. Now allowing everything to be, being in your heart, your inner child, giving it some warm fuzzies. All this stuff can help. All this stuff can help. Because all that matters is you getting rid of that chronic condition so you can have a better quality of life while you do your correct presence practice. And you'll say, thank you, God, thank you for that life lesson. Yeah, you may swear about it as well. I certainly do. God doesn't judge. God doesn't mind if you use the odd swear word. You gonna come up, honey? Hey? Yeah, good bird. So that's chronic health conditions. If you've got one going, I'd recommend the correct presence practice course. You will get an hour's coaching with me so I can check in on your practice, answer your questions, because that gets you in your body. Therefore you relax. Therefore your body doesn't hold extra stress and tension, which is just going to exacerbate any physical symptoms. Then you can work and clear out your beliefs and your emotional garbage all in one go. That's the brilliance of correct presence practice, which means pillar 2, you're including all of you, your ego, your pain, just like I'm allowing this nasty little biting parrot here to stay on the table. But I'm adjusting myself so I don't get bitten. And you can respond to a situation. Respond. Not do the unconscious freak out like the birds did when half of them flew, well, 2/3 of them flew away. Yeah. Any questions? Make contact. Turn one of these most horrible things that's affecting your life into your gateway, your portal to bring you home. I've been there, I've done that. Golden Ray course, or the Reiki, that could help too. I've seen some amazing healings happening with all that stuff, with myself and with others. Remarkable. Grace is more than willing to help, but you just have to step up. God isn't stingy with assistance. Oh, that was a nice bite. Pain, am I here? Yep. So I'll catch you in the next video. I'm Jason at awakendessence.com. Hello, darlings. I'm not giving you any more. I've had enough of you. You're a nasty little parrot. It will learn, eh? We've had some nasty biters that I've managed to train to be quite friendly and calm, because they don't get the food if they're nasty. Hey, yeah, you're okay, aren't you? Hey? Tangle. Oh, no, it's not Tangles. There's Tangles about.